part of the beak, and it makes much more sense. So we're going to move on to the eye. Now this is where your reference photo, your personal reference photo comes in. The eye is a light blue, however depending upon the photo that you're using, it could actually lean towards more of a green colour and have a bit of turquoise in it. Now mine is just blue, but I'm going to add a little bit of turquoise into this area because I've got a plan for the back of his head, which I'll let you in on later. So to start off, I'm going to use the 140 as a base colour for the eyelid. Now the eyelid is the really intense part of this painting. Really very small area, but it brings it to life. So it's worth taking your time with this bit and having a look at your reference photo before you begin. So all I've done at the moment is just fill in, the lid of his eye in one solid blue colour. So into this, we're going to get more colours. So I'm going to start with some of the 151, which is that dark blue that we were just using down here. So again, depending upon your reference photo, you can use this in areas which are shaded and that blend into this black outline that we did in the previous step. So what I'm doing here is I'm softening this edge by running the pencil between the light blue and the black, and it's just merging them nicely together because this area on my photo is in shadow and the light is catching the top of his lid instead. Just going to bring a small amount onto the inside here. This is where this is technically his eyeball, because there's going to be quite a strong shadow there as well. Now, because as I said, I want my blue to start to lean towards green just a little bit, I'm going to put a hint of the 156 in, which was used in a previous tutorial of the lovely peacock, and it's a really fab colour. So this is taking the blue around the colour wheel and closer to the green. So blue and orange are complementary colours and red and green are complementary colours. Hence they're saying red and green must never be seen. So complementary is a sort of odd way of describing it, I always think, because it sounds as though they get along really well, whereas actually what happens is when you have the two complementary colours together, they sort of clash. But it can be used to an artist's advantage, definitely. So what I've done here is I've glazed over it. There'll be a photo of this on the blog. And it's just tinged it a bit of a turquoise colour. Okay, so we'll leave that there. And again, don't worry if you don't have all these colours. Use whatever you've got to hand. I've also got this lovely light blue, which is a Carbothello from Stabilo. And I'm going to use a little bit of this on the top. But again, if you don't have all these blues, just use whatever you've got. So for the top of his eyelid, which is catching the light, I'm going to just put a few touches of this ever so slightly lighter blue. Now what I'm doing is I'm allowing bits of the green tinted blue underneath to show through. It might be a bit difficult to see on the video. So this is bringing more texture and they're starting to just clash against each other just a little bit. So I'm going to add some grey now for the eyeball. This is the 273, but again, if you've only got the 233, which is another mid-grey, then you can use that one instead. And I'm just shading it in, being quite neat up to the edges. So this has just flattened that whole area now. So we're going to go in and add a bit more shape. So to this, I'm going to use the 172 into the eyeball. Now the eyes are actually really, really beautiful if you have a look, but it's a very small space, so we're going to keep it quite simple. So I'm adding just small dots of the 172 into the eyeball. And the top half of the eye on my photo is in shadow. So for that shadow, I'm going to use the 181. And just add that in. Already it takes on a whole new dynamic. So you can see that shadow is nice and curved, which is really important.